Hello, guys, and welcome to the second episode of the Joining Me Today podcast, presented by me, Bailey Ewers-smith, a guy whose actual favourite film is the Lego Batman movie, a film I love so much. I bought the Blu-ray twice. So anyway, today is going to be another brilliant, brilliant episode of the podcast. I've got such a great podcast guest for you guys today. But as with the first episode, what I like to do and what I'm going to be doing with all of my episodes in the future is that I'm going to be giving you guys a song recommendation. Last time I gave the song recommendation of my favorite song of all time, and just even thinking about it is making me so like I just want to listen to it right now and stuff. It's the song "Love Me Again" by John Newman. That was my suggestion last time, and I every time I get to shout it out, I'm so happy. It deserves it. But today, my song recommendation is going to be something a little bit different. Today, my song recommendation is going to be a song called Amsterdam by Nothing But Thieves. It's just one of those typical, really good indie rock sort of like songs and stuff. The like main singer of the band, sort of the brilliance of his voice really comes out in that song, and it's just got a brilliant song structure, something you always love to see. The way the beats and stuff are structured in the song is just absolutely fantastic and stuff. Like for me, I love a good song structure, so seeing that in the song is brilliant. Starts off slow, and then you start to get a bit of a build up, those little pumps, and then into a brilliant chorus. So you guys should definitely go check that song out. It's a brilliant song. But let's get on to the main event of today's podcast. Today, I'm going to be joined by the main guy behind the Renegade Media Group channel, a over 250,000 subscribed channel, over 200 million views across all of his YouTube content, an all-around fantastic guy. Welcome to the podcast, it's from Renegade Media Group. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me on here, man.
It's an absolute honor having you on. I already had Chad on with the first episode, and now I've got Nate on. So my podcast is in heaven right now. This is brilliant. I love having you.
Ah,
Love having you guys on. It's brilliant.
hey, man. I'm more than happy to, just shoot the breeze with anybody. Just have a good convo and answer any questions that anyone may have. I'm I'm an open book, man. I try to be anyway. I try to be.
Okay, so something I actually did with my first episode as well. You like you've been on the call and stuff with me. You weren't on
Mm.
camera for the video, but you have been on the call, and um might have even known because Chad might have sort of showed you like my first video. I like to do song recommendations.
Yeah.
But I also like to know my guest song recommendations. So what song
Ah.
would you like to recommend to the audience to start things
Hmm.
out?
A good one that I have that I actually listened to. I was actually on a road trip earlier with my mother. We were helping deliver. My mom raises Sphinx cats. The hairless cats,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I volunteer to like deliver them or drive them places because I just like to drive, and honestly, I just love the cats. Um, I was on a road trip with my mom, and I put like my playlist on shuffle, and one song came up I hadn't heard in forever, and I forgot how much I loved it. It was it was "Crazy" by Gnarls Barkley. I
Oh yeah.
I love
Oh,
that
that sounds
track so
brilliant.
much because all of a sudden I just heard the intro. I was just like, "Oh wow! Oh, I forgot this was on here." Because again, I have over I think 3,000 songs in my shuffle
Oh.
playlist. Yeah, so and it's all across the board. Like I've got stuff from like jazz, like soundtracks from movies. I've got just abstract ambient music. Just I also metal, rap, R&B. I just have it from all over the list, and I just can't. I can't help what I like. It's from all over the board, and honestly, yeah, Gnarls Barkley, a very short-lived project between MF Doom and Danger Mouse. Rest in peace, Doom, by the way. And and I would really they talked forever, or not MF Doom, but I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Danger Doom. What am I doing? It's between it's probably because I haven't heard anything from him forever. CeeLo Green, sorry. So between CeeLo Green and or Danger Mouse, and again, I really hope that they come together one more time and make one more record, but we'll see. But yeah, sorry. A little kerfuffle there on my
That's fine.
list in my head, because again, I also love Danger Doom when they were doing stuff, because again, and also Doom passing away here recently really threw me for a loop.
Yeah, like what a fantastic choice and stuff. I'm
Mhm.
fortunately it's a song I've actually heard as well, so I could probably be like, yeah, what a good choice. It's feel awkward where like someone gives you like, oh yeah, I listened to this song the other day, it was da da da, and it's like, oh yeah, cool, and it's like you don't know if it's good or not. You always feel a bit like, yeah,
Yeah,
but no, it's good. Yeah, I think that song's about 15 years old now. 15,
yeah,
16, 2006, I think it was released. So
I think
yeah, it has been a
so.
very long time.
Yeah, it came out around the time I was in my last few years of high school, and just it blew up, and I couldn't stop playing that song, and then it just popped up in my playlist again, and I'm like, yeah. So it's just awesome whenever moments like that happen. It's like a moment of just like pure nostalgic callback, like, and your neurons wake up, and you're just like, oh my gosh, here we are! I can't believe this! I forgot all about this. This is such a great feeling.
I love
Uh,
those moments. Oh, they're
oh
always
yeah.
good. I was yeah, I would have only been about 3 or 4 when that came out and stuff. I'm only turning 20 this year, so I wasn't even there.
You're making me feel old, man. You're making me feel old here. I mean, come on. Oh. Oh. It's like,
I was only
yeah.
9 when
I was like, oh yeah,
somebody
I'm
I used to know
graduating high.
came out.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm graduating high school, and I was like, oh man, I was just born. I'm like, oh no, I can't be here. I can't be here. It's like,
It's
oh.
like the worst thing. It's like the worst thing when you realize that I saw this the other day. The average
Mhm.
audience now for people who play Minecraft are people that weren't born when it was first came out, because they'd be about 7 or 8, wouldn't they? And that would only be 2014.
Yeah,
Crazy, isn't it?
that's insane to think about. Because again,
Crazy.
time, no matter what we do, time just keeps moving forward, man, and we're all along for the ride, and we might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, very true. So now we've got that out the way. Brilliant song recommendation. You guys should definitely give it a listen. If you haven't somehow already, it was one of the biggest songs during the mid 2000s, or listen
Oh
to it
yeah.
again like Nate did and stuff. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So I'd like to dive into the first question of the podcast.
All
First
right.
question I'd like to dive into is obviously like you're on this podcast and stuff because of your YouTube channel, the Renegade Media Group YouTube channel, a
Mm-hmm.
channel that you've had now for many years and stuff, and has accumulated and stuff quite a lot of views and stuff as we went through in the
Yeah.
beginning. But what was the sort of like inspiration behind creating the channel? Sort of why did you like create the channel in the first place?
Well, in all honesty, it started from a few things. Around that time, when I first started the channel, I was involved with another group. We had started another YouTube channel. It's probably still out there somewhere. Great Chaos Entertainment, and GCE. We just called it that for short. But we had so much fun with that. It was me, my friend Sean, and another friend Jesse. We all started it together. We all came up together, just like trying to create content online. And unfortunately, we found ourselves butting heads on things that I thought didn't really need that much effort to really, think about. It's just like, okay, is this going to work? Okay, it won't work, so let's move on to something else. But instead, it's just like constantly butting heads. And then I thought to myself, this GCE is under this umbrella here. I'm going to start something else, and I don't really know what to call it. And I sat there like just rolling through names in my head, rolling through things I could call, and I came up with the term renegade. And for those OGs who knew way back in the day, um, you will have seen some of my videos where the channel was called Renegade Bull, because I was just like, because my friend called me a bull in a china shop one time because, I'm a big guy. I can't help it. But uh, I try my best to like not hurt or like break anything, but somehow it still happens because I get too excited. I'm just like, oh my gosh, let's go. And I wind up breaking something like, oh, it was him. But yeah, and it was called Renegade Bull, but then eventually I changed it over to Renegades React. It was around, gosh, it was just after my birthday in 2014, and it was around it was 25th of 2014. That's the official first reaction video we did. It was to DJ Snake and Lil Jon's "Turned Down for What," and great, yeah, it was a great reaction, and I didn't expect it to go anywhere. I was just trying out anything on YouTube to see what would work. I tried gaming stuff. That got me a little bit of headway. I tried like vlogging stuff, but I couldn't really find anything interesting to do or talk about. And then the reaction thing happened, and all of a sudden we had 500 views, 1,000 views, 5,000 views. I was like, where is this all coming from? And then pretty soon we had people asking us, giving requests in the comment section to do more. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's take a list of the ones that they have down here. Let's watch them and let's see what happens. And it just took off from there. And we had 50 subscribers, 100, 500, 1,000. And then here we find ourselves today, over 8 years later. And I still feel like I'm an amateur in this game, even though I've been doing it for 8 years. And I really wish that I could, I could go back and do some stuff differently when it came to starting up the channel. But I'm very happy with how things are, man. I mean, I can't just keep living regretting it. It's like, oh, if I'd only done this, I'd have 1 million subs by now. Yeah.
You end up in a cycle, and it's like, oh, it becomes the whole thing.
Yeah. What's the point? What's the point in getting twisted up over that? You're only going to tie yourself down and make yourself more like mentally like exhausted just from that. So yeah,
been seeing that with YouTuber burnout, ain't we? Sort of like the effects in it that sort of thinking so much in these creative projects can have in it. It can really be a detriment to YouTube channels. So yeah, you've got to sort of try and block out any of those sort of problems if you can. I might not have took this risk or done this, but look at the benefits. At least I've got a clear mind and everything. So you're right.
And there are people who did the stuff that I thought about, and they went very high up. They broke 1 million subs. Like some actually broke like 2 million subs. And I was just like, holy mackerel! How's this happening? And then all of a sudden something happened, and all those channels that I saw hit these huge milestones. Now they don't post anything anymore. It's like like you talked about, they burn out because I guarantee you maybe they got caught up in just overthinking stuff and just wound up getting like tied up in knots and just couldn't do anything. I mean, and I worried about that because we've had issues on this channel, which we'll probably talk about here as we go along. But but yeah, in terms of the channel, it just started as a whim. Just as me like worried, like, okay, this isn't going to go anywhere, so I'm going to start up this. And yeah, that's basically where it all started.
That's great to hear and stuff, and to also think, like you sort of it came from something else. So I thought it was just from you, but to think it actually come from a previous project, this is sort of like a 2.0 sort of in a way. That's quite interesting actually.
Yeah,
it's quite cool to hear. That was very cool. I appreciate that answer.
No problem.
What would you say? Because like we've like, sorry, I'd like to go back to it because it sounds a bit like, oh, you're 200 million views and all stuff like that. But when you hear those numbers I gave, sort of, how do you feel about that? Like to think you own a 200 million view channel. Like, sort of, what's your opinion on that? That must be like crazy to think about.
I actually look up the analytics every now and again, just like how many years worth of our videos has been watched in like the span of a month. Like how much time have we like entertained people out there with our reactions and everything? Like how many people, like how much time? Originally I was just like, all right, how much time wasted on us? Let's see, how much time did people waste on us? But instead I started just like, wow, there's literally hundreds of years of watch time of people watching our material and watching our reactions and everything, and just like I couldn't believe it. And to see that number when it, I remember I was so excited when we hit 1 million views. When we hit 1 million views, I did a backflip on the channel. I literally did a back.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
Really?
I did. I cheated. I did it on a trampoline. I did, now I landed it.
State building, wouldn't it?
But I did it though. I landed it. I landed on my feet and everything. So
Nice.
I'm happy about that. But overall, yeah, when we hit 1 million, I was like, wow, 1 million views. I can't believe this. This is insane. And then 10, 100, now we're over 200. And I'm like, how? I know there's channels out there that have over billions of views on their channel. Like I've seen some channels that have 10 times the amount of subscribers as us, but don't have anywhere near the amount of views. They have like 57 million views, and yet they have, I think, over 1 million subs. I'm just like, I guess their content really, it made people want to subscribe to their channel for more. And again, I would say that my biggest thing is I really wish I'd tell people to subscribe more, but again, I just tell people subscribe if you feel like it. But you see all these channels like, you need to subscribe right now. Subscribe.
Oh, I hate all that stuff. It's so annoying.
And I try to be subtle with it, and I was just like, hey, you do know what you could do. There's a little subscribe button down there that may inform you of when we are doing more stuff like this. So, hint, click, wink, nudge, nudge.
And that reminds me, if you guys could subscribe to my channel and stuff,
absolutely,
that would be fantastic. I want money. I just want your money.
Do it right now.
I have your parents do it. I'm joking. But like
that ransom note was just the beginning.
I think, like, to me, I would probably think the same as you, of like, wow, like, I don't even like to think that, like, so many people have spent, like, think about how many hours of human life there are, and to think how many hours of like human life have been spent just on like sort of your content and stuff.
Yeah,
like, it's just crazy to think about. Like, it's like, wow, like, and you were just a guy who just started it in your house. You didn't have a famous dad or something, or you're on TV.
It wasn't even my house either. It was I was making videos. At that point, I had to move back in with my mother because I'd lost the apartment I was living in. Turns out my roommates, one of my roommates, you can ask my friend. Actually, you can ask Chad about this. One of our roommates was actually dealing out the back door, and we didn't know this, and we were just like, "Oh, that's bad," because cops come in here, we're all going down, and I'm like, I can't be a part of this. And I left, and then I think a couple weeks later, Chad left. Like, he found a place to stay outside of that. But, again, I was living with my mom at the time whenever I came up with this. That little corner of the basement that most of our videos were filmed in our first year and a half were all in the corner of the little basement that my mom and my stepdad basically said, you have this corner. That's it. Nothing, you can't set up anything else outside this corner. And I'm like, that's fine. That's perfect. And now I own the house that we started the channel in. I own the house.
Wow.
I bought the house off my mom, and now I'm doing good. So that's
doing very good. You know what I mean? The numbers
that's the
prove
dream.
it.
That's the dream unto itself.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. You know what I mean? And it's some great stories in there and stuff. It's great to hear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One thing though, sorry to sort of do a bit of a tone shift and stuff. But I'd like to get into, like, a big part of your channel and stuff is like the reaction content and stuff. And definitely seen on YouTube and stuff, there's been a big sort of, like, even sort of outside the YouTube realm and stuff, even in the UK, it's actually kind of become, because we've got reaction sort of content on TV now where people just sit on a sofa and watch TV, and it's kind of become a point of criticism of, oh, this is just lazy content. These people are making AAA movies and AAA games. You know what I mean? These guys are just sitting there watching videos. You know what I mean? Like, what would your sort of opinion be on sort of those sort of critics and like opinions?
Well, I'm going to be honest. When it comes to a lot of the reaction content that I see on YouTube, there are some that I kind of agree that, they're not really doing or adding that much. for instance, if they're watching, say, a Markiplier video, they're watching like a Markiplier Let's Play or something like that, and instead of Markiplier being like right here in this little in a little box down here, and you're pausing the video and you're talking about it and all that, instead you're just sitting there and you're just like not saying anything, and you're like up in the little
I hate
corner
that.
up here. You're in the corner opposite of Markiplier. Like Mark's over here, you're over here, and you're not really saying anything. You're just sitting there watching. And then after you start the video with, okay, so we're gonna be watching Markiplier play this game here. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Like that for the entire Let's Play, not saying anything, not doing anything. Like every now and again, be like. Yeah, something like that. No adding your own flavor, no adding your own commentary or anything like that. And after the video's over, Mark does his whole bye-bye and just signs off. You're just like, okay, so yeah, we're just gonna be sure to like and subscribe and all that for more reaction content, and bye. And that's it. And again, I've seen that, and there are some channels that get hundreds of thousands of views on videos simply because of that. And I know that that's because of, oh, sorry. That's our dog. He's, every time someone comes to the door, don't worry. He's a puppy. Asher's a sweet, sweet dog. He is an absolute champ. But like I was saying, these videos get hundreds of thousands of views, and I see that, and I'm like, they're not really adding anything. They're not really doing anything. And I get the point that some of those criticisms have made. Now, how we have done it is, we pause the video, we make commentary, we add our own jokes, which, some people say adds to the experience. We've actually had people say that, they watch the video and then they come back and watch our reaction to it so that they can feel like they're watching it with somebody. It's almost like a watch-along experience where people feel like they're watching it with friends and everything. Which, someone actually made a comment in one of our videos, listing the main criticisms, just like you're stealing their content, and no matter how you put their name in the title, because that's one thing we do. We put their name in the title. We actually make their name a hot link where you can actually click their name and go directly to their channel. And we always credit them in the video, in the title of the video. We also link the original video in the description. We do everything we can to make sure people check out the original person whom we are reacting to. That's one thing we want to make abundantly clear. But someone listed off it doesn't matter if you're putting their name in the comment or in the description or in the title of their video, it's still stealing. And here's the crux of the whole thing. What I said was, you are allowed to think that. You are allowed to think that this is stealing. That is your opinion, and you are entitled to it. And if that is how you want to see it for the rest of your life, then that's how it is. But the opinion that you have to take into account more than anything is the opinion of the creator of which we are reacting to. That's one thing because again, when you try and speak on the behalf of others, you wind up making yourself look like the fool. That's the problem. Don't try and speak on someone else's behalf and try and take up arms to try and say, I want to stand up for this person. And it's like, dude, if they want to, they could make a video on their channel basically saying, yeah, I don't really approve of reactions to my content. So yeah. And that's the thing. We have been contacted multiple times. I can think of 4 creators who have contacted us and said that they do not, that we had previously reacted to their stuff. And all 4 of them basically said the same thing. It's like, we don't want you reacting to our stuff. Please, can you take it down? And also, can you potentially take down the other videos that you've reacted to of ours? And here's the thing. We're not in this to cause drama. We're not in this to, cause a stir and be like, oh, yeah, we're going to be pirates, yar har, we're just going to take your stuff and claim it as ours. No, that's not what we're in this for. We're in this to have fun, and we're in this to, just sit on the couch and have good times. And I say that, we always take that into account. If a creator came to us and said, hey, we want you to delete our stuff, we'll gladly do that. No problem. But I've been contacted by countless, holy crap. I would say internet historian, We've been contacted by Epic Rap Battles of History. We've been contacted by CinemaSins. We've been contacted by so many channels out there who know and love our reactions to their content. And they say, "Help! This adds a whole new level of depth to the stuff that we're putting out because we're seeing your commentary on this." And when it comes to Epic Rap Battles of History, when it comes to a lot of stuff, I'm pretty knowledgeable because I was going to be a history teacher. That's actually what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a history teacher, but I fell out of it in college because I ran into a tenured professor that, I just couldn't get around him, and I wound up dropping out of college and just getting a real job. But yeah, I would say that people who have come to us and said that our reaction adds a new layer of depth to their videos, and not only that, but also been told by those creators that it adds to their online footprint, online footprint of just overall reach. And if there's a reaction, then 9 times out of 10, the person is not only going to check out the reaction, they're going to check out the original video. And this is something that I know that statistic isn't 100% provable or anything like that, but everyone that I have mentioned, or everyone that I've talked to from other channels that we've reacted to, all of them have said that their audience only grows from the footprint, that is present online, simply from our reactions and other reactions. I know that, people can find it, wrong or find it as stealing if they want to. But again, your opinion is your opinion. You're allowed to have that, and I'm not going to make any qualms about it. But the opinion of the creator whom we are reacting to me, is the opinion that matters the most. If we watch a video and a creator doesn't like what we're doing, then fine. We're not gonna react to their stuff anymore. But yeah, that's mainly my whole argument with it. It's a very complex argument, and I know that there are people out there who take advantage of reactions and the reaction format and everything.
During that sort of mid 2010s, and I think that stuff sort of started to stop once. I think people because one of the big guys who was doing it was Jinx. I don't know if you remember him or heard about him. He was like one of the big action channels.
Jinx.
I remember when him and the others started to drop off. That was when it was like no one really attempted it. A few have still tried to get up there, but then I think it kind of moved to Twitch, and then it kind of became didn't really happen anymore. And I even remember when I don't know if you've ever seen this video and stuff, but you've definitely got to watch it at some point if you get the opportunity. The YouTuber Jax Films, he did a joke video about Jinx.
I've seen that. I've actually seen that video.
The reaction video where
he reacts to his reaction.
I love that video so much.
It's so
that should
good.
Be in, like the YouTube Hall of Fame.
I think it should be, because again, Jinx was one of those creators that I didn't agree with his format of doing it. I mean, very little commentary, very little adding to the video overall. And I looked, and it's like, oh, this video he reacted to is 22 minutes long. How long is his reaction? 22 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh.
You're only going to add 45 seconds. If you look, there are some videos where we double the runtime of the original, and we've actually had people yell at us over that. It's like this is a 4-minute video, and you guys took 17 minutes to react to it. It's like, it's a reaction video.
That is the point, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not like we're just going to re-upload the original video and say nothing. That's stupid. That's idiotic. Why would we do that?
You just turn around to Nick and say, shush, it's only 4 minutes.
Yeah, all of a sudden Nick is just like, he's like, I was thinking about it. I was like, hey, Nick, shut up. Shush. And
We got a 6-minute curfew.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I know that, people people like Jinx and his brother CJ, they really came up really fast, and a lot of people really started to gravitate towards them, and we got flack for saying that we agreed that, their way of doing reactions wasn't right. And now I look at Jinx and CJ and I'm like, where are they now? Like, what are they doing now? I'm like, they've basically fallen off. And look, I'm not saying that me personally, I'm, we are the gold standard. It's just like me, no one really knows what the gold standard is ever, because again, opinions change. Opinions on various things change. And I feel like the way we do it, most people have said, is a good way to do it. And is it 100% entertaining for everybody? No, but that's never the point. We're just having fun and we're posting whatever we feel is right. And that's all we really can do at the end of the day.
That's really the best way to go about it, really, and
Yeah.
stuff. And in my opinion and stuff, yeah, those channels like Jinx and all that, I just didn't agree with their reaction format at all. I just thought it was essentially and stuff just reposting the content, and it was capitalizing on the content. People tune into your guys' channel because at first it might be because, I want to see a reaction to so and so video, like a jontron video, and then they go, I like these guys, they talk about this and that, I'll watch more. And then they tune in for like you guys. It's the same with like me. I tune in and stuff after jontron or Scott the Woz releases a video because I want to see wonder what sort of Nate would react to this bit or Chad would react to this bit. Like you get excited to hear your guys' opinions. I remember like when all that Jinx stuff was getting popular and all that, and I was like, this is just the epitome of just like how anybody can just make anything. Like it reminds me of like, I feel like that sort of content now has now become Twitch's problem, because I think we're now seeing Twitch is now becoming a platform of people just sitting there, let me react to this video and stuff. They sit there and go, that's funny. It's now moved to Twitch. Or the new thing I've seen and stuff is that you'll just have like people reacting to Reddit sort of stuff now, and if people want to like that, that's totally fine. Just for me, I just think it's kind of like people are creating the content for you. You're just kind of going, you've put me on a picture of Homer Simpson. It's like, that's not really, you're just kind of reacting to stuff. But everyone has their own opinions, and that's, you know what I mean? That's how the world works, isn't it?
Again, opinions, they're all over, they range from every spectrum out there. And you can make a good case. Heck, I've heard people make good cases on why reaction channels should not be a thing. I've heard good cases being made on that. But again, it's just a difference of mindsets. You see, some people view that in one way, and where we view it in another. I like reaction channels that really add their own spin and add stuff to it. And that's the main thing I've been trying to purvey over the last 8 years is, our format isn't for everybody, and people may find us boring. I still get comments every now and again. It's like, how come these guys over 200,000 subscribers? They're boring. I'm like, look, man, if your attention span's not enough to keep up with us, okay. I mean, heck, go watch Coco Melon. Go watch something that's just going to throw loud noises and like stuff at you like that. I mean,
if you want boring, go watch SS Sniper Wolf. That's proper boring. Go see some of the content on there.
Oh yeah, and see which thumbnail she gonna use today though. It's the same 4 pictures. The same 4 pictures. Like every video we do, I take an official reaction from that, like a freeze frame of one of our reactions from the video we're reacting to, and put it in the thumbnail. I mean,
how it's from the video.
Yeah, and imagine if SS Sniper Wolf did that. I mean, I take that back. Maybe if she did that, it would still be the same thing because she has the emotional range of a Muppet. I'm sorry, but I love SS Sniper Wolf, like her stuff whenever she was like doing gaming and all that. But again, now that she's just doing
now, it's terrible.
Yeah, I'm never gonna hate on someone for making money. Like, make your money. Count your paper. So before anyone says you're just hating because she's rich, I could care less. I could care less if she's making money. I am making a strict commentary about her style of doing videos. I find them boring. I find them, just by the numbers, just completely just lacking in originality in any way, just having your own original thoughts. Instead, she just regurgitates memes and regurgitates the same talking points that she's made over and over and over again, and nothing changes. And she's got 31 million subs, dude. 31 million, and I just can't. No, it's probably more than that now. And I just can't believe, again, just how easy it is for some people to just post whatever and just get over. I mean, she's got a good following. That's one thing I will say. She has a very dedicated following. And I would say some of them are very lonely, very sad men who just think that she's their online girlfriend. I mean, that's
Mm.
that. I mean, I've seen some questionable dudes who have been subscribed to her, and I'm just like, yeah, I would have security around
Mm.
whenever you go to conventions. If
Oh
that guy's
yeah.
coming, have security around you because
Mm.
I don't trust that. Because, and
We've seen
again,
it with incidences of I can't remember her name now. Oh,
I know
she
the
was
one
a
you're talking
singer.
about. Yeah, she
See something. I'm trying to think of her name. I can't think of it.
yeah, I know she was on was it The Voice or was it no, not The
One of
Voice.
those shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was on one of the yeah, and right before her debut album was supposed to come out, a super fan of hers just acted on his own and just yeah, I again, man, that's
Yeah.
just terrible, terrible,
It
terrible
is. It's
stuff.
a scary thing, really, isn't it?
It is, and she was super young too. She was like 21, 22. She was very, very
Jeez.
young, and
Mm.
you hate to see someone snuffed out like that, especially before they're in their creative prime and they're actually able to put stuff out that can truly reach people. But again, just you you have to remain cautious whenever you go to certain events, certain conventions. I mean, me, I go to conventions, but again, I've really never had anyone try to mess with me. I've had people say like mean things to me at a convention, and I've always just been like,
Oh.
I always just been like, you don't even know me. Like that's literally because I guarantee if the person did know me, they probably wouldn't say those things about me. But again, hey, it's their fault for not wanting to get to know me. I mean, I don't I don't know what else to say. But yeah, again, Sniper Wolf, I don't like her style of reactions. It's just not my thing. If that's what people out there like, I guess that's what they like. But again, I don't know what else to say on that. Ugh.
Yeah, the world of YouTube's crazy, isn't it? It's a totally crazy world.
Yeah.
It's not even getting to TikTok, but anyway, so
No. Abandoned ship.
We're actually going to, in terms of the questions now, we're actually going to move a little bit away now from your YouTube channel and stuff. Obviously,
Okay.
it's been great talking about your YouTube channel because
Yeah.
one of the best channels out there. You guys have got to subscribe and stuff. If we haven't said that
Thank you, man.
already, a fantastic channel. But a question I'd like to get into is that I know you've spoken about your love of gaming and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
on sort of like videos. You've collected all sorts of games and obviously yeah, you
Yeah.
react to like Scotland Wars and stuff. You spoke about all different things. I'm
Yeah.
like sort of a big gamer myself. So what sort of like your experience been with like gaming sort of growing up like and like all the way up to now?
Ooh. Okay. So from where I'm from, way back in the sticks, um, early on, we didn't have any anything gaming wise, in terms of video gaming. The only video gaming stuff I remember from the first 4 or 5 years of my life is from my grandparents' basement. They had a Nintendo Entertainment System, just the original NES, and they had one game. It was Super Mario Brothers 3. And I cannot
Oh
tell you how
no.
many times I beat that, how many times I tried to speed run that game. I timed myself to see, I put an egg timer up to see how if I could beat the egg timer. And yeah, again, dude, it was so much fun. And then I remember right after we moved, when we were right after we moved to a new area, basically that's when we actually got the internet. I actually didn't. Gosh, I didn't experience
Wow.
the internet until I was 13, man. Let me tell you that. I
Oh,
did.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I didn't. Again, we didn't have the internet until I was 13, and but before we moved out of the holler, that's way back in the sticks. I had a Super Nintendo, and we had Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario World. Then we had Super Mario All Stars, Mario Paint, and we had F-Zero. We had Star Fox. Most of these games we found we had a family friend either give to us, or they were found at a pawn shop that my dad always went through, and those are the 5 main games that we had back then. And I just remember after I moved into the town, I was able to work. I worked over summers with my dad I worked at our family business. It was a Hamilton Salvage. It was like a low rent home supplies store,
Oh yeah, yeah,
family
yeah.
owned, and I assembled cabinets for the better part of 6 years, like the age of
Wow.
six, from like the age of 6 until 13, and I saved up as much money as
Oh,
I could, and I was actually able to buy in 2001 when I was around 13. I bought a PlayStation 2, and that
nice.
was the first one I ever bought with my own money. Like we had family members sell us like N64s. We had PlayStation 1s and stuff like that. But then when I got the PlayStation 2, that was when everything just changed for me because not only that, I had the only DVD player in the house. And my family was like begging me, like, can we keep it in the living room? And I'm just like, okay, fine. But I get to play this. But I get to play this down here, and they're like, okay, that's fine. And the big TV we had down there, the big bubble back TVs, those old CRTs.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember playing so many games on that. My friend, we would ride bikes, and then we would come back and we would play on that all the time. Oh, and after that it's all just a blur, from everything from Xbox 360 all the way up to modern gaming. I mean, I'm a PC gamer now, and I mainly play on that, and I've had such a blast learning and just getting in touch with all the old games. Like I've basically gone back and bought a lot of games that I had when I was a kid, or games that I wanted as a kid but I never got a chance to play, and I've just gone back and done that, and I can't. And the shelves have just filled up. It's just like shelf after shelf after shelf, and I'm like,
Should probably
I am
are
running out
then.
of space. I'm running out of space. I'm gonna have to get like an IKEA bookshelf. Hey, Scott the Wise, can I have one of your IKEA bookshelves? And he'll just be like, no, stay away from me. Yeah.
I actually saw in a video he did like a month ago and stuff. Like he's now like putting like loads of stuff in his wardrobe and stuff now, and like
Yeah.
he's actually got broken down like bookcases. He's in his room now. I think he's like, at least like the room we end up seeing in his videos. It's just bookcase, then bookcase, bookcase, bookcase. But he's got like a whole massive room, and it's just full of them. It's just
Yeah.
absolutely chock a block.
And my whole thing with Scott, I remember seeing that video, and in the closet I saw he had a GCHD, which is the GameCube HDMI adapter, and I'm just like, ooh, I wonder what he's going to use that for. And then I saw he released his GameCube video, and I'm just like, oh, is he going to talk about it? And he did. I was like, yes, yes, oh, so good. Because I was an early adopter on those, and I'm just like, because again, the best picture you can get out of a GameCube is through those adapters. Oh my gosh, so good. But yeah, I basically have everything in a little corner downstairs, like all my retro stuff. I have it in my the basically it's a shelving unit. It's 8 squares. Basically, I can just fill them up with stuff, whatever I want. I have the PlayStation 5 sitting on top of that. Then I have the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, and then I have the Nintendo Switch on top, and then the cube underneath it. I have the N64, and then under that, I have the SNES. I basically have like a gaming generations kind of thing going on. That's what I wanted to do with it. My retro room, if I ever get a retro room set up in this house, there are so many things and so many plans I have to make that thing amazing. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be like a mad scientist. I'm gonna go to Lowe's and I'm just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna get all this wood. And I'm just gonna build all these like bookshelves and cases. Oh, I can't wait. And then I look at the price of lumber and I'm just like, how much are those bookshelves on IKEA again? Yeah.
Is it really worth buying all these bookcases just for Sega Saturn games?
Yes. Yes. Someone actually sent us a Sega Saturn through a mailbag a long time ago. Someone sent that to us, and it's still out there. I need to get that out and try and get that working again. He said the laser was bad in it, and I've actually looked up how to replace the laser, and it's not too hard, but if I can't do it, then I have a friend who's like really good at old electronics that can take a look at it.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. Like your experience of gaming. It's probably going to make you feel old and stuff. But in terms of my experience of gaming, with me, it's kind of a little bit fuzzy in terms of my early experience because I don't exactly know what came first. All I know is that I got a DS for my 4th birthday back in 2006. That's my first system. New Super Mario Brothers, interestingly enough.
Okay.
That's the first game. But I also remember my older half brother. He actually had a GBA SP, and he had
Oh,
Super Mario Advance 2 on it.
the
Super Mario
clamshell, the
World.
clamshell Advance SP. I remember those, man. Those are the best versions of the Game Boy Advance. I believe that wholeheartedly.
Oh, they definitely are. I can't believe it took them so long to get back like systems. I still can't believe that.
It's Nintendo, man.
Just a joke.
Nintendo is reliable but cheap. That's the thing. Like if it's cheap but as long as it's reliable, if it's cheap, that's what they're using. I mean, the last time they had a system that was able to keep up graphically with PlayStation was the N64. Think about that. Actually, no, the
Uh,
GameCube. The GameCube was technically as powerful. It's just the discs, the small discs, didn't have enough space to really play like
ruined the
the game.
GameCube in so
Yeah,
many
it
ways.
did, man. I know they do it
Like,
because of DRM, because they want to protect their intellectual properties. But come on, man, come
then
on.
when you have a look, what's one of the most famous emulators that come to mind? The Dolphin emulator. It's
Hmm.
just funny how that works out, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
It's like,
and the
oh.
Dolphin emulator works great. Even the online play capabilities that it has, it's really really good. It's just again, Nintendo tries everything they can to just hammer down on that because they can't help themselves.
That's the thing with Nintendo. But luckily, I wasn't there for like. Oh, I do love the GameCube, but luckily I didn't have to deal with sort of the non-backlit sort of Game Boys and all that. I would have loved to experience them, but I
Oh,
didn't have any of those sort of problems. Luckily,
you didn't have to
um,
deal with the little light plug-in on the side that had the little lamp light that went over top of the screen
see,
that did barely anything. Oh, and it
I had,
drained your
like the
battery
glare
even
on the
faster.
screen.
It drained your battery even faster, dude. Oh,
Oh.
so bad.
Yeah, I think following the DS, I got a Nintendo Wii about a year afterwards, I believe, like a year or 2 years afterwards.
Hmm.
I had loads of fun with that, and then I got a. I'm trying to think. Oh, and then my DS bricked by after a year.
Oh.
Um, and got a DS Lite that bricked after 2 years. And I
Wow.
got a DS Lite, DSi, sorry, and I've had that ever since. That luckily still works to this day.
I was gonna say
My
you got two paperweights out of that deal, so there you go.
funny enough, my Wii recently bricked last year, but the
Ah,
craziest part about it, I lost my copy of Wii Sports Resort for about 7 years. It was only by chance I found my old Wii, like, because we moved in about 2014. I
hmm.
found my old Wii in a bag, and I was like, oh my god! When I hook it up, and I got the disc out, like, because it had a disc in it. I was like, it's Wii Sports Resort. I've been looking for this for 7 years. No word of a lie. 20 minutes later, the system bricked and it never worked again.
Oh,
20 minutes later, I didn't touch
dang.
anything after that and it just went. I can't
Yeah.
get it working again.
Oh gosh. I remember when
Some
my
supernatural or something.
yeah. I remember when my. You want to know for me the most inopportune timing for a console to brick ever for me? 2007, Halo 3 releases. But here's the thing:
Oh,
I'm working at a movie store, and we get it a week early. And I am
oh.
allowed to check it out as long as I have it back at the store ready for
But
release.
this story's going.
I had it in my hand. I was going to the house to play it. I was just like so happy and chipper and everything. I was like, I get to play Halo 3 early. And I sit it into my Xbox 360. Old reliable. I'd had this Xbox since for like almost a year and a half. It had no problems, no nothing. I put Halo 3 in. I pushed the tray in. The game starts up. I see the opening cutscene, and I see like what I thought was a meteor crashing down to Earth. And as the meteor crossed in front of the screen like that, the three red lights start blinking. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! You gotta be kidding! No!
And
No!
it's the red ring of death. That's what makes it worse.
I was so mad. I was so mad. I had to call up my cousin. I'm like, Zach, you don't understand. And it's just like, Nate, what's going on? I'm like, Zach, you don't understand. I have Halo 3. I am ready to play it. I was going to play it at my house. I need you to bring your Xbox 360 when you come up here, dude. Please. And he did. He brought it up the next day, and I played Halo 3 for the next 4 days with my cousin. We beat the game. We beat the freaking game. I was so happy. But at the same time, I was just like, I was so like stricken with grief at the loss of my 360 right as I had gotten Halo 3, the game that I was so hotly anticipating for that system. Oh.
You know what makes it free crew as well? When, try and think about how the Halo 3 logo looks, right? I believe, isn't it the 3 with the 1, 2, 3, like the red ring used to be on the Xbox?
Hold on.
The sign!
Hold on.
I might be wrong, but I think that's what the design was.
Hold on. Halo 3 logo.
Could be wrong.
You know what? That's pretty close. That's
So
pretty
freaky,
close.
isn't
Oh. Still to this day, one of the most harrowing gaming moments in my entire life, and I'm just like, no, this isn't happening. I had to walk outside and catch my breath. I'm like, just how is this happening? Why me? Why now?
911, what's the emergency? You can't play Halo. Quick, get all the ambulances.
Yeah. No, my mom would just be like, Nate, why are you calling me? It's like, I can't play Halo 3. Call me when it's an emergency. And I'm just like, this is an emergency. Oh, she hung up.
It's the Persona 3.
Oh, gosh. But, yeah, that whole ordeal still is etched into my brain, and I will never forget it as long as I live. Ever.
Oh, that's just an amazing story. I love hearing stories like that. It's so amazing to. Obviously, it's a sad story, but we can kind of laugh.
Well, sad, but with a silver lining. I mean, I was gonna wait for my again, I was gonna play it for one night by myself, and then when my cousin came over the next day, we were gonna play it then. But then, he brought his Xbox over, and everything was good. Everything was kosher. But again, just the fact that happened, and it scared the life out of me. I was like. I about collapsed, but yeah. Silver linings. You gotta look for the silver linings in stories, because if you don't, it's just like you'll drive yourself crazy.
Oh, speaking of interest, the sort of penultimate question I'd like to get into is, I know and stuff like you're also into wrestling and stuff. That's something you've reacted to quite a bit on the channel.
Yes.
I'm a massive wrestling fan myself.
Nice.
And I'd like to know, what's your experience with wrestling over the years?
Well, I remember the first wrestling event I went to as a kid with my dad. We went to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I was, I think, 4 or 5 years old, and I remember it was the Rock and Roll Express. I forget who they were against, but I also remember. Now I know people are going to ask me, dude, were you there for the New Jack O.J. Simpson promo? No, I wasn't. And even if I was there, I'm not old enough to remember that. But yeah, I remember around 4 or 5 years old. I forget what year it was. We went to Knoxville, Tennessee for one of their big events. My dad got tickets, and I just remember just seeing people flying all over the ring, people jumping over the rope, chair shots, and just like all the craziness that you can imagine with a wrestling show. And I was immediately in love then. And then years later, I got into it with it was right in the middle of, I think it was about 2 or 3 years later. I got into it when Hulk Hogan turned heel and became the leader of the NWO. I remember, I remember, like, I was a huge Hulk Hogan fan back in the day because, hey, he's big, he's like, stands for like everything that's good. He's
real American.
Yeah, he's the real. I'm a real. Actually, he was in WCW at that time, so he couldn't use that. But either way, I remember him turning heel, And I just remember right then, like, my love of wrestling grew even more. And I remembered at that point, Raw and WCW, Nitro were both on TV at the time. I remembered I would watch Nitro downstairs in the living room, and then I would have Raw recorded upstairs in my room on my VCR. Dude, I broke like 2 or 3 tapes over the span of a year and a half, re-recording
Oh,
over them. Because again, once you re-record over them enough, the tape eventually just snaps and gives out, and that's what
yeah.
happened. And I remembered doing that and just thinking to myself, "Oh my gosh, okay, I just okay, I'm recording Raw up here, I'm watching Nitro on this TV down here." And then eventually, over time, I realized, okay, I'm wanting to watch Raw on this one, and then I'll record Nitro up here. And very slowly, I started watching Raw more on the live stuff, and then I started watching Nitro on the recordings, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm liking Raw a lot more. I'm gonna start watching Raw more and more. And after that, it was over. And I just remember, you had the rise of the NWO, you had
Mm.
the rise of Goldberg and WCW, and then also you had the rise of Stone Cold, Undertaker, Mankind, The Rock, just so many huge names coming up in the wrestling game at that time, and all of them like peaking at the right time and having probably one of the best eras in wrestling. Which I remembered, like 2001. A lot of people say 2001 is the end of the Attitude Era. If 96 was the beginning or 97 was the beginning, with Stone Cold cutting the Austin 316 promo and then the
Mm.
Montreal screw job. If that's considered the beginning, I would say 2001, when WrestleMania 17 happened, was the end of the Attitude Era. And I think that WrestleMania 17 is probably the best WrestleMania ever. Didn't get to go to that one, but I got to go to WrestleMania 18 in Toronto, Canada. My
That
dad's
was not too bad, actually.
no, I
Yeah.
loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Mm.
68,000 people all screaming. Which again, in the Sky Dome, it wasn't raining outside. It wasn't snowing outside. It was slushing outside, raining and snowing at the same time. And I just remember getting inside and just being like, "Oh my goodness! Like, this is amazing." I just walking in and seeing all the people just fill into the arena, and then of course, The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. That was the match of the night. Just
Mm. 100%.
the pure like over the pure hype behind Hulk Hogan, hulking out the and then The Rock eventually getting the win over it, and then them shaking hands in the middle of the ring. And I just remember the whole crowd just losing their minds and cheering. And my dad, what was beautiful about it is my dad went to it with me. That was the last wrestling show me and my dad went to together.
Mm.
Because after that, my dad wasn't as interested in wrestling anymore, and I was starting to lose interest in wrestling as well at that point. And I think from around when John Cena really popped up on the scene and became the face of WWE, I sort of
Mm.
lost interest in it for a long, long time.
Kind
And
of it started to become like you had Hogan as your hero back in the day, and I think you can
well,
more get away with that sort of hero villain dynamic after the Attitude Era, where you had like Stone Cold eating chairs and all that. You can't really go back to that whole Cena. He's the hero. He's for the
well,
kids, and this guy's the
him.
bad guy. I think it didn't really work anymore, did it?
It didn't, but at the same time, it kept the place going. It kept the boat. It kept the motor running. And I would say, okay, my unsung hero of all of wrestling in terms of WCW, and when they brought him to WWF, I was like, what are you doing? Diamond Dallas Page. Diamond Dallas
Oh
Page,
yeah.
my dude. Like, he was my favorite wrestler in WCW after Hulk Hogan turned heel. He was my favorite babyface. And I loved him, like, going through the crowd, holding up the belts, and just going on these awesome runs with the U.S. title, where he fought Chris Benoit and Raven in these amazing matches. He fought Kurt Hennig. He fought Randy Savage. So many good matches. And then he got the world title. And I remember it was when he got the world title was when WCW really started to go downhill. And then they
Mm.
brought him into WWF. He actually broke his contract and accepted less money just so he could keep wrestling. That's what a lot of people don't know about him.
Wow.
And
It's
it's because
crazy. I
he
didn't
loved
even
it. He
know.
loves wrestling. And he came in and he wanted to do an angle with The Rock. people's champ versus people's champ. Because, DDP was the people's champ in WCW, and he could go in the ring. He was a pretty good worker. And him and The Rock, I think, could have had a pretty good series. But instead, what does Vince McMahon do? It's like, he's a WCW guy. Let's make him the Undertaker's wife's stalker. Let's do that. Yeah. And lo and behold, I remember the night it happened when I saw the motorcycle coming in, and they were just like, oh, it's the stalker. The stalker's here. He stole the Undertaker's motorcycle. I'm like, oh, I wonder who it's gonna be. I'm like, oh, I wonder who Taker's gonna beat the hell out of. I wonder who Taker's gonna just like wallop. And then all of a sudden, mask comes off, and I'm like, I just like all of a sudden,
seriously? Oh, good old Vince.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you for ruining my favorite wrestler from my childhood, which he does that a lot. He ruins a lot of people's childhoods.
Fortunately, he won't be doing that anymore.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. But we still haven't seen like the full effect of Vince not being at the helm. But so far, so good. So far, so good. But I'm still hesitant. I'm still just like, let's see what else. Let's see what else develops as time goes on. I'd say 6 to 8 months from now, we'll see how much of a problem it might be. Because again, heavy lies the crown, and now it's off of Vince's head. And now it's on Triple H's head in terms of creative, and I'm just like, Can Triple H keep it up? Can he keep up, doing, running the ship? And I'm hoping so, because I'm rooting for him, even though there's things Triple H has done that I don't agree with. But again, for the most part, he's a much better booker than Vince. He's a much better creative mind for wrestling than Vince.
Admittedly, my favorite era of wrestling is actually that sort of NXT era that he was in charge of from about 2017
where Finn Balor was the king. Finn Balor and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were coming up. Oh,
and you had like Adam Cole and sort of Ricochet. Like my favorite match of all time is Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole. It's a 2 out of 3 falls match. It was like Street Fight, something else, submission or something,
and then the cage match.
Steel cage. Yeah, barbed wire. It is. I think to me that is the near perfect match. And like. And then isn't it crazy that the developmental system was making much better programming than what was on main TV? When that match was happening, we were seeing like Lesnar and Reigns again. It's like
for what, the 15th time? Again, I am all for rematches if the weight behind it means something. But if you've seen the same rematch again and again and again, that's just like during that time I talked about where I lost interest. Do you know how many times John Cena and Randy Orton feuded for the world championship? John Cena and Randy Orton feuded over 30 times. 30 times in the span of like 8 years. Are you kidding me? Oh, and not only that, but the Big Show turned heel again. It's like, oh, what did he turn? How long is this heel turn gonna last? Oh, 3 weeks because we need him to be a babyface again. It's like, come on, man.
Wonder how many blisters he has on his heel with how many heel turns he does. Like, his heel must be damaged or anything.
But here recently, I've actually gotten into the production side of wrestling shows. Ricky Morton's wrestling school, I actually helped run the video and audio side of it for the better part of 2 years, and it was right before COVID hit. Where, we all decided, it was me, Chad, and a bunch of other guys were just, like, fed up with management at that place. Not Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton, super cool guy, but the people who ran the school were just a bunch of cronies and a bunch of, like, yes men who just did what this one dude, like, at his beck and call. And I'm just like, I got no time for this. Like, he's not paying me for my work. He said he would pay me. He's not paying me. Well, it was like 3 weeks straight, dude. I kept asking him, like, you gonna pay me for the work I did this week? And he's just like, you can get with her over there. She'll get you. I talked to her. I talked to the woman that he points to, and she's like, oh, but I don't have that today. He's the one that's got the money. I turned back around, and he's gone. He's gone, and the promoter's gone. And I just couldn't believe it. Like, that was like the thing that happened. But then
Mm.
I ran audio and video for that, and I've done like freelance stuff here and there. But there's a wrestling school that's going to be opening up about 30 minutes away from me and Chad. Chad's going to go there and wrestle for like the last few years that he wants to. But me personally, I'm going there to help set up the audio and video stuff. I've told the guy who's opening the place that, I've given him a list. Like, here's a list if you want high end stuff. Here's a list if you want like mid range stuff, and here's a list if you want like ultra cheap budgeted stuff. And basically, he's told me that, whenever I get the loan and everything, I'll hit you up, and you can come up here and you can help me set everything up. And I'm like, that's fine, that's cool. And I love doing that stuff. I love helping people set up for their future and getting them rolling. And again, I've been in the wrestling ring. I've done a few things. I've taken a few bumps, but I haven't been in any matches. But Chad's tag team partner, AC Reddick, tried to talk me into playing a gimmick. They wanted me to be like a pizza delivery guy who got lost. And, he was just like, and like me, I was like, I'd be roaming around the back. He's like, yeah, I got an order for AC Reddick out here. AC Reddick, anybody? And then all of a sudden, like Chad's tag team partner being in the ring, he's like, that pizza's for me. Don't give it to none of these people here. No. Don't even look. None of you look at that pizza. It's mine. Get in the ring. And then all of a sudden, I'd get in the ring and I'm like, okay, man, that'll be $21 plus tip. And he's just like, a tip? You want a tip? Okay, hold on one second. Let me give you a tip. And then he'd come up and slap me in the face like, there's a tip for you. And all of a sudden, I'm just gonna I'll try and fight back with him. But then him and Chad would come up and just like beat the heck out of me, and I'd be down on the ground. And they did it because of my hair. My hair, like where I got the real curly hair. They'd want me to like blow my hair up and just like put on like a pizza shirt, like pizza time shirt. And just like maybe have like some sauce marks on it, like spill some marinara sauce on it. And I wanted to do it, but it never came to fruition because again, whenever COVID hit, it sort of just put a roadblock in front of all of that. And I've thought about doing it again because I wouldn't mind playing a gimmick character that comes in and gets the crap kicked out of him because I think that's fun. I'm like, honestly, I did stunts and everything for like short films back in the day, and it was a lot of fun. And I would love to just get in the ring and just do that again because again, I just have fun, man. And plus, I'm a big teddy bear. It's very hard to hurt me.
Yeah, no, funny enough, I was saying in the first podcast episode, actually, I was saying to Chad, I would love to actually like maybe not sort of do it like full-time professional wrestling, but just sort of learn how to do it and sort of, just like maybe do a couple things here and there just to sort of say, look, I've done it, sort of like this podcast, just to be like, look, I've experienced this in my life.
Life's full of experiences, and if you don't experience them, then what's the point?
Yeah. It's just the unfortunate thing, really, is that the sort of vibe I've always got is that America, professional wrestling's a lot more of a sort of bigger deal over there, and like there's wrestling schools, they're sort of scattered everywhere. But unfortunately, sort of where I live, my nearest wrestling school is basically what would be the equivalent of 2 states away. Is that 3 hours away? We'd be in territory that's like, you're traveling very far just for one lesson a week. So it's like. Yeah, so it's kind of out the realm.
I was going to say, you'd arrive in a new territory, fresh meat into the wrestling school. It's like, all right, bruv, I'm going to give you one right across the chest. All of a sudden, you're just like, it's like all of a sudden you got
I get chopped back to where I come from.
All of a sudden, you're just like, you land back in your bedroom and just like, well, I'm not doing that again.
But no, I would love to learn it and stuff. Like, it's something I'm definitely very interested in learning. It's just, unfortunately, it's just sort of where you're located.
Well, getting the basics down, like you could learn the basics of like grip, like grabbing holds and everything. Like the initial lockup. That you can do in your bedroom with a friend. You and your friend can just like look up how to do the lockup, because basically what it is one of you grabs you behind the head, and the other one, and you grab the arm as it comes up, and basically it's almost like a little bit of a dance. Just like, whoop, both of you do this. You're grabbing onto his hand, you're grabbing onto his arm, he's grabbing onto your arm, and that's basically it. And me and Chad have done that multiple times. And I know it just from habit now. I know because again, you drill it enough, you do it for 20 minutes straight, just like lock up, okay? One more time. Huh, okay. One more time. Huh. You do that for 20 minutes, you're going to learn to do it by habit. It's eventually going to be drilled into you. And that's just the basic stuff. And then of course, from there transitioning into like a headlock, like, all right, roll under and there we go. And then grip up like that, make it like make it look like you're really like wrenching it. There's basic holds that you can learn without a wrestling school. You just have to have a friend who's willing to do it with you. Because again, most wrestling schools don't have a ring. They don't have trainers or anything like that. It just starts out with a pair of people. I mean, heck, Lance Storm, the wrestling school that he took over, that's how it started. It was just a pair of brothers in an old sawmill out in the middle of the Alberta wilderness. That's how it started. And Lance Storm's wrestling school has trained some of the best Canadian wrestlers of all time. I mean, I know Kevin Owens was there for a while. I know Sami Zayn was there. I know that's actually Kevin and Sami had some of their best like in-ring work at Lance Storm's wrestling school. Just like fluid work, fluidity of movement and just like making all the moves, like everything coming together. And that's where they knew it's like, okay, this guy's going to be my workhorse partner for the rest of my life. And that's basically how it came to be. But if you have a friend out there who is interested in doing wrestling, then you all can learn like the basic holds and everything. There's tutorial videos online that I've looked up and I've learned like, oh, so the transition, it's not the fact that, you're like forcing your way. Instead, you're just like you communication as well. It's like if you lock up, it's like, all right, headlock. All right, there you go. And next thing you know, you're calling the match, and just again, it's a transitional thing. You learn. You're basically building a house brick by brick, and eventually, next thing you know, you got the McMahon mansion. That's eventually what you get.
The one paid for with expenses that weren't declared. Anyway, so
nice, good one.
Luckily, I actually do have a friend and stuff that's really into professional wrestling as well. So yeah, never know, could start practicing in a year's time. On NXT.
Well, I was going to say, if anything, get yourselves like some tumble mats to like learn how to roll and everything, because that's the other thing too. Learning to roll and learning to like what your body is capable of and where you're able to improve and everything. I've got tumble mats myself, and I I used to be in gymnastics way back when, dude. I was like from age of 5 until like the age of 11. It was this little itty bitty studio that could fit like 10 people all together. And it was just me and a bunch of kids just like rolling around the room on tumble mats. And it was just like, it's like, all right, roll to the end of the room. And when you're done, roll back. And when you're done, you know, you do it again. It's like, that's our teachers weren't the best, but I learned how to do cartwheels. I learned how to do backflips and everything back when I used to be able to do a backflip, man, without a trampoline. That's how I used to be. But again,
maybe if you ever get 1 million subs.
If I ever get 1 million subs, I will do a backflip without a trampoline. That's what it'll be. That's the promise.
Officially said it now, so you got to do it now.
I'll own up to it. Hey, I ain't afraid. I ain't afraid of no broken back.
This has been, by the way, such a great episode and stuff. It's been so great having you on. Fortunately, we're here at the final question now. We're here at the send-off question. And the final question I'd like to say, if you was to give any sort of piece of advice sort of out there to the public, sort of like what is like a piece of advice you sort of follow every day? Like what sort of advice would you give to just people out there?
The one thing that I will give, it's very simple, very basic, but I think a lot of people are way too quick to give up on stuff. Here's what I will say. One word. Persistence. And persisting through and just making the best of like everything that you have. Like when I started this YouTube stuff, I didn't have anything. I literally had old music equipment that was like microphones and stuff like that, but I didn't have any video experience. I had nothing. And I made while I was working my regular daytime job, I made a promise to myself. It's like, okay, everything that I buy from here on out is going towards what what I have or what I want to do. It's like I'm not no unnecessary expenditures, no spending money on stuff that I don't need. So again, persistence and just learning from your mistakes. Because again, if you don't learn from your mistakes, and you're doomed to repeat them. I mean, because again, and if you keep making the same mistake, then that's literally insane. That's insanity. It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So instead, Mick Gordon had a great saying about it. It's just like, if you want to change the outcome, change the process. Change the, because again, persisting and changing the process to achieve a different outcome. That's like, because again, I tried gaming, I tried vlogging, I tried everything that you could imagine on this channel, but I found something that worked and I rolled with it, and I have the life that I have now, and I could not
Where
be
you are
happier.
now.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't be.
And this is something, I mean, I'd like to have for my channel and stuff. I'd like to sort of be, persistent and stuff, like being like, no, like, yeah, it's sort of hard doing editing and all that, and it's kind of complicated, but no, you know what I mean? If you keep going, you can make it something bigger and bigger. I had this podcast idea for like 4 years, and I went this year, no, I'm going to do it. I've got the time, I've got the opportunity. Why don't I go do it? And now I'm getting to interview, amazing people like yourself. Like, I wouldn't have even imagined this like 6 months ago. So this is amazing.
Hey man, I'm happy that I could be a guest on here. And honestly, again, like, in terms of podcasts, I mean, Joe Rogan, I mean, look where he started. I mean, it started, him and Brian Redband were just like looking at the screen like two confused old men, like, is it on? And look at him now, biggest podcast in the world, $200 million in his bank account. No, and no, you can't say anything really bad about him. I mean, he stuck to his guns and he did what he did. I mean, and that can happen with you, man. I mean, at any given point, if you persist with it and you keep improving yourself and only get better, I mean, eventually good things will happen. Eventually good things can happen and will happen.
Yeah, that's brilliant and stuff ending sentiment. And sadly and stuff, we got to call it, end at some point. Unfortunately, that time has come. But I've had such an enjoyable time. Thank you for coming on the podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'd like to say, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go check out Renegade Media Group. Their channel is amazing. Go check out Chad. They call me Hat Guy as well. And stuff. Amazing guy. We had him on the last podcast and stuff, Gonna shout him out again. He deserves it. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys next time. Peace out.